She once ruled the skyline from her glass tower office. As a billionaire CEO, she commanded respect, fear, and admiration in equal measure. Her name meant power in boardrooms and headlines. Employees trembled when she passed. Success followed her everywhere, but warmth and love quietly avoided her guarded heart for many years. Her empire collapsed in a single ruthless season. Investors withdrew, partners betrayed her trust, and the market crushed her company without mercy. News channels repeated her downfall daily. The woman who once inspired thousands now faced empty accounts, lawsuits, and silence. Her luxurious penthouse felt colder than any street outside. Friends who once praised her vanished overnight. Invitations stopped coming. Her phone remained still for days. Pride kept her from asking for help. She sold her jewelry, her cars, and finally her apartment. The city she once dominated now watched her walk its streets unnoticed, carrying only regret and exhaustion. With no options left, she accepted a humble position at a small manufacturing building on the edge of town. Ironically, it was once owned by a subsidiary of her former corporation. Now she worked there as a night janitor, cleaning floors she would never again own, hiding her identity from coworkers. The building came alive at night with silence and humming machines. She mopped corridors where executives once waited nervously for meetings with her. Each sweep of the mop felt like punishment for arrogance she never admitted before. Yet survival mattered more than pride. Bills had to be paid, dignity rebuilt slowly. One evening, she noticed a quiet man arriving early with 3 little children. He was the night maintenance worker. His uniform was faded, but his posture carried quiet strength. The triplets, 2 girls and 1 boy, waited in a small corner with coloring books while their father worked diligently. She tried to ignore them at first. Children represented distractions she never allowed in her corporate world. But their laughter echoed warmly through cold hallways. They greeted her every night with bright smiles. She responded politely, though her voice carried the stiffness of someone unaccustomed to gentle conversations. One rainy night, the power flickered, and the youngest girl grew frightened. The father rushed to comfort her, kneeling on the dusty floor without hesitation. He whispered reassurances until she smiled again. Watching them stirred something unfamiliar inside the former CEO, something softer than ambition or control. During breaks, the triplets shared homemade sandwiches with their father. One evening, they insisted she join them. Embarrassed, she declined at first. The children persisted with innocent determination. Eventually, she sat beside them on the warehouse steps, eating simple bread that tasted richer than her former 5-star dinners. They spoke about school projects and dreams of becoming teachers, doctors, and astronauts. When they asked about her dreams, she hesitated. For years, her only dream had been profit margins and global expansion. Now she struggled to answer. She realized she had never dreamed beyond success and recognition. Days turned into weeks. The father, humble and steady, never complained about double shifts or exhaustion. Instead, he told his children that every job done with honesty carried honor. The words lingered in her mind. She had once measured worth by income, not integrity. That truth unsettled her deeply. One evening, the oldest girl found an old newspaper clipping in the break room. It showed the former CEO at a charity gala, smiling confidently beside flashing cameras. The child looked at her carefully and asked, "Is that you?" Silence filled the corridor like a held breath. She considered denying it. Shame pressed heavily on her chest, but something in the children's trusting eyes compelled honesty. She nodded slowly. Instead of awe or judgment, they simply asked, "Were you happy?" The question pierced sharper than any financial loss she had endured before. She searched for an answer, but found none. Wealth had surrounded her, yet loneliness had ruled her heart. She admitted quietly that she did not think she was truly happy. The children exchanged thoughtful glances. Then the youngest said gently, "Maybe you forgot what matters most." Their father listened silently, offering no intrusion. Later, he said, "Money builds buildings, but truth builds homes." His calm voice carried no criticism, only wisdom born from hardship. She felt tears gather, not from humiliation, but from recognition of something she had ignored her entire life. Inspired by their resilience, she began helping the children with homework during slow hours. Numbers and business concepts once used for corporate strategies now explained math problems and science projects. She discovered joy in teaching, in seeing understanding light up young faces instead of shareholders' expectations. Gradually, she stopped hiding from co-workers. She shared her past openly and accepted responsibility for mistakes driven by greed and pride. Surprisingly, no one mocked her. Instead, they respected her willingness to work honestly despite former status. Humility became her new strength, stronger than any executive authority. Months passed, and she saved modestly from her wages. Rather than dreaming of reclaiming a throne, she envisioned building something smaller yet meaningful. With guidance from the janitor father, she designed a community program teaching financial literacy to low-income families. The idea felt purposeful rather than powerful. The triplets helped create colorful posters for the first workshop. Attendance was small but sincere. She spoke not as a billionaire, but as someone who had lost everything and learned painfully. Her voice trembled at first, then steadied with conviction, rooted in experience rather than ego. Word slowly spread. Former contacts noticed her new initiative and reached out cautiously. This time, she negotiated partnerships focused on social impact, not dominance. She insisted on fair wages and ethical decisions. Profit remained important, but it no longer stood above people and principle. Years later, she rebuilt a company, smaller yet sustainable. The night janitor became facilities manager in her new enterprise, honored for loyalty and wisdom. The triplets visited her office often, laughing freely in spaces once filled only with tension. Success returned, but its meaning had transformed entirely. When reporters eventually asked how she recovered from total ruin, she smiled softly. She did not mention market strategies or financial maneuvers. Instead, she spoke of 3 children who asked one simple question about happiness. That question restored what billions never could. She learned that wealth without truth empties the soul, but truth without wealth can still nourish a family. The night janitor's triplets taught her that dignity, honesty, and love form the real foundation of any empire. And this time, she vowed never to forget that lesson.